The Women's Business Center of Richmond would like you to join us for our weekly Winning with WOW radio broadcast, hosted by yours truly, DrDanni, on ESPN Richmond 106.1 FM. Each segment features a woman boss who shares aspects of her entrepreneurial journey, designed to enlighten, uplift, and inspire. If you have business ownership aspirations, let us help. We can be reached at the WBC Richmond on our socials or thewbcrichmond.org, or you can call us at 804-525-9499.
Well, good morning, and we're excited for another segment of Bossing Up, but I think we got a little bit more fire creative in there too with Miss Wendy's Consulting, and I'm excited because we have an opportunity to talk about something that's very timely and relevant at this particular time of the year when we start going into tax season. Yeah. But before we get started in all of those little knowledge about how our businesses can be successful and make sure that they're being managed for financial success, I want to know a little bit about you. There's a road where the entrepreneurial Wendi intercepts the corporate Wendi. And so if there was something that maybe our viewers and our listeners only have 5 minutes or so to tune in, what would you want them to walk away as it relates to your entrepreneurial journey that you think was invaluable or important for you to be successful?
I think for me, especially when it was time for me to leave corporate, how I knew I was more focused and wanting to do my personal business, and I could not even focus on what I had to do at work because I didn't care. I was so zoned out and oh my God, I could be doing advertising. I'm over here thinking about all these different things and planning out my year. And I wasn't focused on my job. And so I knew it was time for me to exit corporate for that. But it was just a light lit up inside of me. And it was just it's time to go. It's time. I took that, leap of faith and was let's go.
Well, you definitely seem like a go-getter, somebody who is, you see your path, you line your path. And so how long did you walk that side hustle corporate gig before you decided to say, I'm going to do this full time?
So I had been doing taxes I learned how to do taxes in high school. So I had been doing taxes since high school, but I actually made it an official business 2 years ago. I was always one of those people, I knew I could run a business, but I didn't have a great idea. I didn't have no nice hair product or anything that I could do. Mm-hmm. And so I figured, why not do taxes? It's something that I'm good at. It's something that I already know how to do because I've been working in corporate for so long. I ran $1 million businesses. So why can't I run that for myself or, run somebody else's company and still be my own business person? So for me, it took 2 years. I'm actually only in week 2 of being a full-time entrepreneur.
All right. Whoop-whoop.
So, whoop-whoop for that. I will say it is one of those things where I am a go-getter because I got bills to pay. So in my mind, I'm always being how can I make money or how can I keep generating income? Because of course, that's what you need to sustain.
So tell me about Wendi Consulting. Tell me the broad spectrum of services that you offer. Maybe even profile for us. What are the leading characteristics of people who need to use your services?
So I am basically the back office for a small business owner. I can do your whole back office for you, meaning your payroll, your bookkeeping, your taxes, planning for budgeting. I do that as well. Because when you have to think about it as an entrepreneur, I like getting people who have just recently started their business. I really prefer to work with people that are full-time in their business. Because I've learned when you work with somebody who has a side business, their focus is more on their full-time job and they really are treating it like a part-time. Mm-hmm. And so, they may not be generating a lot of money. And for them, it's just maybe like a hobby or an extra way to make money, but they're not this ain't bread and butter. When it's your bread and butter, I feel like those entrepreneurs that I work with, they're on point. My whole belief in my life and what I do is I really want to educate Black people. And specifically, I say people of color, because they don't know and they weren't given the same opportunities as other people of other races. And so it's important when I sit down with entrepreneurs, a lot of times I'm talking to them about things that they're not even paying me for. Let's talk about your marketing because, I went to school, got my MBA. I know what marketing looks like. Let's talk about smart marketing. What are you doing to, sustain yourself in this environment that, you're playing in, because it's millions out there. But if you're not marketing it to the right people or you don't know who your clientele is, that'll play with your wasting money on marketing if you don't know what you're marketing for.
Well, that's really smart, especially when you say that your target market are small businesses, and we're, getting at the onset of Black History Month, and
Yes,
I'm excited.
I had to wear a Black History shirt just to start it off.
Martin, Rosa, Malcolm, James, Maya, Ruby, and me. All right. Shout out to Black History Month.
Yes.
We know that every month is Black History Month.
Look, every day. Every day. And that's another thing. So that is the big part of my business. So doing payroll, of course, it's tax season. So right now, I'm getting with entrepreneurs. It's the start of the year. If you haven't been doing your stuff right, it's the start of the year. It's a new year. We can start on a new, fresh, clean slate of paper. Like we can start off new again. My thing with entrepreneurs, a lot of them they want to just run their business. They don't want to do the back office part, but I need your back office to be tight so that you can run your business.
Oh,
because you meet some clients. I'll be like, how much did you make last month?
Oh
No. Like, because how can you sustain a business that you don't know what you're making?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Most of the time, entrepreneurs, particularly whether they're minority and women, there's something that has happened in their life that's thrust them into becoming an entrepreneur. I've crossed paths with at least two people who said they've been an entrepreneur all their life.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't look like us. They came up in a household that was that way. And then there's some of us who are out there who, families own businesses and things like that. But again, it was more, they focused on what they did and they were able to get away with it. And you think about it, they were owner operators or they were sole proprietorships. But the idea of running a corporation, filing your taxes, keeping your receipts,
that's foreign to some people. But it was so funny. The very first podcast I ever did, I had told people, you too could be like Donald Trump, because at the time he hadn't released his taxes. And I said, he ain't released his taxes because he ain't pay no taxes. And that's what y'all don't understand. Y'all all could be Donald Trump, but y'all don't want to do the paperwork. Y'all don't want to file everything with the government, file everything with the state. Even if some people got local taxes they got to do. They don't want to submit, documentation. Y'all don't want to get credit from your business. Y'all don't want to do business credit. Y'all don't want to open up storefronts. Y'all don't want to have passive income and things working for you. All these different things. Y'all don't want to do it, but y'all could. You don't understand. Everybody could be like Donald Trump. I tell people all the time, where your receipts at? Oh, I don't keep that.
So we got to find another icon. We're going to do that, guys. We're going to be like,
well, we're going to
be like Bill Gates.
At the time I picked him because it was a big thing. And I kept saying, he ain't paying no taxes because he ain't paying none. And when you have a good accountant who holds you accountable and says, run me everything, the windows are open to anything when you just do things the right way. And that's why I tell people, if you set your back office up right the first time, you don't have to do it the second time.
So what are the different elements? I know that, we hear about that, those of us who come from a corporate, but let's say I have a janitorial business, or I have, a lawn care business. I'm a cosmetologist, especially.
Ooh. So all that's cash based. And
I want to say that. So this idea of their back office, conceptually, they may not even know all of the elements that are going to hit. So you can break it down for them. What all are the different elements? You got payroll.
So your payroll. So you have your payroll. So if you don't have 1099 contract workers, you have payroll. I have it where I'm actually affiliated with QuickBooks. I'm always on sale QuickBooks because I'm affiliated with them. So I offer people a back office with QuickBooks, which has your payroll. You can do your bookkeeping in there. So that's where you would pay your bills. And that's also where you would show your income coming in. And the reason why that's important, guys, is because when you sit down and want to get funded from a bank, they want to see an income statement. They want to see a balance sheet. We want to see cash flow statements. They want to see those statements, and QuickBooks generates those based on what you input into the system. And you can have it linked to your bank account, where if you have a bank account just solely for your business, you link it to there. You can run your card through there, and what happens is it'll pop up and show it. You can attach the receipt, so everything's already there. There's your support for if you ever get audited. Because these cash-based businesses, you are more likely to be audited with a cash-based business, so your cosmetologists and stuff like that. That's why it's important, that you run a card. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't like cards, but cards are what keep you out of jail, because it's proof. It's a transaction. You have a receipt. When you give cash and you don't record it as a transaction,
It's hard to go back and say, this was my expense for this month and things of that nature. And so when you're getting a new business set up and they're getting set up on QuickBooks, what kind of expense, independent of the expense for your services, what kind of systematic expenses should they expect to pay for this ongoing service? Is it a monthly expense? Do you buy a software and you own it, or how does that work?
So I would recommend doing the online. So you can purchase a software 100%, but I recommend doing online only because you can use it from any computer. So let's say you have 6 computers, for like let's say a family ran business and you want everybody to have access to it. You can give them access to it. They can log on it from anywhere. You can give your accountant access to it or your bookkeeper access to it. So I like that functionality where you're paying for a monthly service and it's normally inexpensive. So for me, I'm a person that likes things paid out. If I can get it paid out, multiple payments, that's what I do. Because I learned that while working in corporate America, nobody paying bills at 100%. It's always, they stagger it, they accrue it so that they can hit it every month. So it's not a huge amount all taken in one month. So I'm all about breaking a payment down. Okay. And I like QuickBooks because I think the starting one is like $12 a month for a starting entrepreneur. Okay. And I think if you add on the payroll, it might be another $30 or $40.
So QuickBooks does payroll now? I thought that was all ADP and all that. So
QuickBooks does payroll. I just set up a client today with QuickBooks doing payroll.
Oh, excellent.
And now they also have it where you can link in ADP and a couple of other payrolls if you're using a different site. But I like QuickBooks. I'm one of those people, I like going to one place for everything. Okay. Like I have Square. Square do all my stuff. They do the invoicing. That's, I run my call. Everything is ran through Square. I meet so many entrepreneurs, they're using so many platforms. And I'm like, you need to find something that does everything all in one. That way, first of all, you usually can bundle it, you get a discount, but it's all in one place. And QuickBooks is pretty much known everywhere. I mean, I don't know anybody who does not know QuickBooks. Even if you just from watching taxes, they do the commercials every year. Everybody knows QuickBooks.
Yes.
And so I like using that service. But yeah, I mean, so when we talk about expenses for a business, of course, when you have any type of consulting or anything like that, especially like for us, say for marketing, you write all of that off your website, your tax planning, you gotta have a lawyer for, to handle your paperwork for your business to be, the right way set up. You can expense that. Office supplies, you can expense your hair, depending on what line of business you're doing, like your clothing that you buy. I have an image to uphold, so I can't be out here looking crazy. So, I might spend a lot of money on my clothes because I want my clients to know I'm serious, like, when you're talking to me. So, those type of things, your internet, your cell phone, like all of those things can be expense. It's just, do you have the receipts for it? A small business owners who work out of their house, you can have a business ran out of your house as your office, and you can expense your utilities. You can expense your utility bills based on the square footage of your office.
So that's and I think a lot of people have a sense of that. But let's just imagine you're talking to someone who's had their business running for, maybe 5 years.
Okay.
How does that, we can almost imagine that the need that they have for an accounting service and a tax preparer is high.
Yes.
Someone who's just started their first year. You mentioned you like to get people early. What, they're saying to themselves, I haven't even been really generating much revenue.
And I love them. I say this when I meet with my clients. I don't talk to them as if we're in today. I always talk to them as a forward thinker. Okay, we're not talking about you not making money right now. We forward thinking that you are going to be making money. So because you're going to be making money, we're going to get you in this mindset that this is what you do. So when you start making $100,000, $200,000, it ain't like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like, this is too much now. You've been doing all the steps, and so everything flows. I have some clients where they're super new. I don't put them on QuickBooks. Okay. You're not making enough money that you even need QuickBooks, but I'm gonna set you up this Excel file and we're gonna do it this way. Okay. Like I have templates set up for clients that are super new. Mm-hmm. You don't need QuickBooks, but when you generate over $50,000, you need Quick. You know what I'm saying? You need QuickBooks. But some people, they can run everything out of Excel because their expenses aren't that grand. Mm-hmm. But when we start talking about having an S corp, a corporation, you're gonna be having real big boy bills, big girl bills. Uh-huh. You need a service that can handle that. And just like QuickBooks, you might opt for QuickBooks, you might need a bigger one to handle. It's based on where you're at. But most clients are either at Excel or they're at QuickBooks. But my whole thing is just getting them in the habit of, one of my clients, she does every week where she sits down and does all her back office that week. She'll do all her expenses, her invoicing, but she set herself up like that.
Okay.
I got some people be like, I don't want to do that. I just want to give you everything and use and I can do that. Like I can do that, but it's at a cost. So, you have to understand that. And they'd be like, okay, once you explain it to them, because they don't want to do it. But it's literally me inputting in invoices, reconciling everything from your bank statement to what you show as an invoice, having everything ready. So when you are ready at the end of the month to see how you did, you literally click a button and it'll show you what you did for the month.
So that's it, folks. You've got to reach out to Wendi, because if you're like me, your head is spinning and you are excited that there are people like you who gets so much passion and energy out of
numbers. And I think for me, it's more of an education thing. So like, I talk to kids all day about finances, investing, crypto, everything. I talk to kids all day for free. Mm-hmm. Adults, I'm not gonna talk to you for free because you have all the things and avenues to learn and understand business at your fingertips. And it's just that, you don't know. And that's cool. I'm going to help you, but I'm going to charge you because I still got to pay my bills and feed my son.
But if you don't pay for your learning, sometimes you don't appreciate it. But you have it here from the WBC Richmond's Winning with Wow radio broadcast on ESPN Richmond 106.1. Wendi, don't laugh so hard because sometimes I get to laughing too. But I want to back up, Wendi. I want you to go back and talk to me about the Wendi who was doing taxes in high school.
I did. So I'm a military brat, but I did my high school years with my dad in Newport News, Virginia. Went to Heritage High School. It was a magnet school program at the time. I was just zoned to be there. So there were kids that were like bused to come to Heritage just because of the program. They were coming from uptown Newport News because it's a downtown Newport News school, like in the hood, like downtown, brand new school that they built. But yes, I took an accounting class in 10th grade and I Miss Palmer, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. Like I loved at the time, I had just started, I think I was 15. I was starting to get a job, start working, and I learned how to do it by hand. This is back in the day when you used to have to actually pull out the manual and look up your tax rate and type it and put it in, use the calculator and form it all the way down. Like this is back in the day. And so I learned how to do taxes. And at the time, because I don't know, the way I think, I was like, I need to do something that no matter what, computers are not going to take the job away. Because I knew computers are the next wave. You always gonna need a live accountant. You always need somebody to be there to check off to make sure that computer ain't messed up. So an accountant is one of those positions that isn't going anywhere. And I started looking at schools. I knew I wanted to go to an HBCU. I toured HBCUs. I went to North Carolina A&T.
Pride.
And I was like, yeah, this is it. Like it was what I needed. It was that family environment, and they had an outstanding accounting program. And
as an Aggie alumni, I get very excited when I think about the intellectual capital that has come out of North Carolina A&T, and it's a little bit off script, but it is relevant. Are you familiar with the threats that are coming against some of the HBCUs right now?
I saw that on the news that they were having bomb threats and things.
Yeah, Howard, and I'm sure. I mean, it's one of those things where we still live in a world, even like you said, we have Hispanic Heritage Month, we have Black History Month. We're doing everything we can to embrace diversity, but there's still those who have a problem and try to cause consternation when we want to feel like we belong. And so it wasn't good enough that you kept many Black people out of PWIs, but now you want to attack where we exist. I mean, it's just, I don't know what's going on with the hostilities that are in this country and they've been here, but I guess they got a rebirth in the last administration.
Yeah, I feel like, them old wounds, people were still hurt off Obama. So it's mad. Yeah. They're still mad about we're living in a different time, especially with Virginia just having a Republican governor now. Even like mask mandates being, unrolled back.
Yeah, I heard that VCU just rolled back having vaccinations and masks.
Now they have to because of the governor. Yeah, I mean my son's school for the county. I'm in Chesterfield. They voted starting Thursday. It's optional, and for me, I'm like, y'all are segregating kids based on masks now. Because if you have taught children to wear masks the last 2 years, they're the most germophobic kids now. They're gonna be like, I don't want to play with you. You ain't got no mask on. Like you are now segregating kids because you don't want them to wear a mask. Like, it's just. It's the season where everybody's getting sick anyway.
Yeah, so you don't know whether it's just, sniffles, a cold, or COVID.
Or COVID. You like, I don't know what it is. So
yeah, I mean, I think about that, and it's just one of those things that, people who have started their business during this time though, and they're able to work remote, that's, they have a choice. But now when you know that there's a social aspect to education, there's a value for classroom attendance, and you're trying to find a way to keep them safe. And probably the same people who are saying my kid is not showing up with a mask, like that lady who said she was going to bring her guns. I don't know.
yeah, people are wild.
But those are the people who probably don't want their kids vaccinated.
But my whole thing is, the whole vaccination topic is a whole other thing. Here's my thing. You had to be vaccinated to go to school. Y'all killing me. You couldn't step your foot on A&T until you had all them shots and everything. I remember my mom was in the military, going on base before I went to A&T and getting shots and all that type of stuff. So all of this, like, I get that you don't have, vaccination is your choice or whatever, but when we're talking about having your kids, why don't you have your kids at home then if you don't want them to wear a mask? Like, why are they being able to intermingle with other little kids and, pass something to them?
Yeah. And unbeknownst to them. So that was just a little shout out to think about some of the relevant current topics or current news that's happening in our particular area. But let us get back to the business side. So, you learned that you could do taxes, that you were comfortable doing, you were good at doing it. And then you go to college, you major in accounting at the #1 university in the United States. And then you say, okay, I want to get a little bit more education. And then you went on to?
I went on to James Madison University. So I got my master's in information security. So I got an MBA with a concentration in information security, because the part that enticed me is because I had knew about information security, but I didn't know a lot about it. And so it was good for me to do information security because it exposed me to the back office part of stuff that I didn't know as far as with security, like the terminology, the things that you should be looking for in a business, ways for your business to stay safe from somebody hacking into it, or just making yourself more safer so that people can't get your information lightly, basically. Like, you have encrypted things in the cloud. People can't just call onto your email and take your information.
But it just seems like that is something that it seems like the technology for encryption and protection is not keeping pace with the folks, because I think somewhere they overlap. The hackers or the hackers that's trying to steal your information, I think they have the same expertise as the people who are trying to protect it. And it blows me away because, as soon as you do something on the internet, you start getting text messages saying, hey, tap here to get your Kroger $100 gift card, or, no matter.
Stop clicking on pop-ups.
No, not pop-ups. We're talking about coming in your text message on your phone.
Oh, you're on the phone.
Because you're doing so many things online. So you talk about having things in the cloud. We just talked about having QuickBooks where all of your financials are out there in the cloud. Most of the tax preparers that I know of, most of the people who do tax, if you go to H&R Block, if you go to Wendi Consulting, they use people in India and your data.
They're using all
exactly. So I don't know. Are we kidding ourselves? Is there any real security that is available to us for our information? I mean, it seems like someone could, they're hacking everything.
So yes. So let's talk about Apple real quick and why Apple is so special. Apple, I've had a MacBook since 2009. I ain't never had a virus, not anything. And I didn't put music. That's back in the day. I used to put music on my Apple, like downloading music, all this stuff. Whatever Apple's using for their technology is top tier. It's so top tier that, government agencies are mad because they can't get an iPhone, when they want to get information. They like, no, we're not giving this to you, because basically they're essentially would be giving away a trade secret on how to get into the phones. And so, like, when you think about all these different companies like Google, Amazon, them offering things in the cloud, like certain companies, they have the infrastructure and the technology to keep out, that's what you pay for. You pay for that security that, you can put stuff in the cloud and nobody's going to take it, because essentially that's where we're going. They're charging for data at this point for anything. So it's like, do I keep the data centrally, or do I let them have it in the cloud? So in case, this coops out on me, because, people ain't buying MacBooks, they buying the HPs and the Dells or whatever. And most of those computers have a short lifespan and they're going to go out. So do I want to have my stuff in the cloud so it's always there, or do I want to have it locally and something could happen? And, I'm just.
So if you can't match liabilities with some revenue it's going to bring in, then you might need to hold off on it.
So, for example, when I first started my year in business, my line sister, she does graphic design. I got her quote. I was like, I ain't there yet. I gotta come back to you when I'm making a little bit more money. And I found a girl who did my website for a lot less. And it works, and it's a cute site, but I know that I'm trying to go bigger. So I already know I got to go back to my line sister and get her to do my website.
So 2 things. You said line sister. So what does that mean?
I am, I cross Alpha Phi chapter.
Alpha Phi in the house, Alpha's finest.
So I'm excited. I'm turning 15 this year, so I'm super excited. They're already planning the trip. Yes,
Alpha Phi, just to be clear, is the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority chapter on the campus of the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University. Just to get that out there.
And I am a member locally of the Richmond chapter.
Rho 8 Omega.
Yes.
And we did not know that before today. I'm in Rho 8 Omega as well.
See, we've gotten so many people.
We did not know that we were both Aggies, we were both AKAs, and we're in the same graduate chapter. How do people get in contact with you? You mentioned about your website and your socials and all of that. Shout out anybody.
Okay, so my website is Wendi, Wendi Consulting LLC.com. My handles are Wendi Consulting LLC on everything except Twitter. I think for Twitter it's just Wendi Consulting, but it's Wendi with an I, Wendi. And then I also have a podcast, Wendi with an I podcast, powered by Wendi Consulting LLC, which is just me talking with other entrepreneurs and talking about accounting too, so that people can do a little bit of learning with me. I always drop a little bit of knowledge on my podcast while I'm having people on. So,
well, that's awesome. Thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Now our people can go on with the rest of their day knowing that they have a resource that they can reach out to at any given time when you're wanting to get your money right. It's not enough just to secure the bag. You got to make sure the bag is in order.
And making you money when you're not thinking about it.
That's right. All right. Have a great day.
Mike Kingbiz here with On the Mic with Mike, the best business radio program around. I'm here with my good friend, DrDanni of the world famous Women's Business Resource Center. We hear you guys have something exciting coming up.
Well, most definitely. I'm glad that you asked us about it. We have our inaugural Winning with Women Entrepreneurs Conference that's coming up April 27th and 28th at the Greater Richmond Convention Center.
You don't want to miss this inaugural event, April 27th and 28th at the Greater Richmond Convention Center. For additional information, visit winningwithwomenconference.org.